Pakanar. Pakanar, another son of Variruchi, was adopted by a Paraya couple. When he was of age, he followed the traditional occupation of his foster parents. He earned his living through selling sieves made of bamboo. He used to join his brothers and sister at Agnihotri's illam on the occasion of the death anniversary of his parents. It was a norm that each of them contribute something, either in cash or in kind, towards the expenditure of the Shraddha. Every time, Pakanar would bring meat as his contribution, which others found hard to appreciate, but they did not protest out of their affection for him. It was Agnihotri's wife who used to cook the dishes for Shraddham. With great reluctance, she would cook the meat as well. The Brahmins participating in the Samaradhana, feeding the invited Brahmins, would also consume it reluctantly. Once it was the udder of a cow that Pakanar took to Agnihotri's illam as his contribution. Seeing this, Agnihotri's wife shrugged and refused to cook it. Instead, she buried it deep in the Nadumittam, the central courtyard. When Agnihotri, his brothers and sisters sat down for lunch along with the invited Brahmins, she began to serve food. Dishes were served one after the other on plantain leaves. "Where is the dish cooked with my contribution?" asked Pakanar. The Antarjanam kept mum. When Agnihotri compelled her, she told the truth. Pakanar was a bit annoyed, but he kept his cool and said, "Please go and see whether it has sprouted." The Andarjanam was startled by the suggestion, but she quietly went to the Nadumittam. She stared in disbelief as she found that the udder had sprouted and grown into a sprawling shrub bearing a lot of long thin fruits. She rushed back to Pakanar and told him what she had seen. "Pluck the fruits, cook them and serve, please," he requested. She immediately plucked the fruits, cooked them and served the dish. The plant that sprouted from the udder came to be known as Bryonia. The fruits of Bryonia are considered to be divine. Where there is a Bryonia plant, it is not considered necessary to perform the religious rites to please the deceased ancestors. The presence of the plant itself is supposed to please the deceased ancestors. One day, Pakanar and his wife were collecting twigs from the woods. A Nambudiri came that way. He asked Pakanar and his wife to step aside as they were untouchables. Pakanar's wife was very angry, but they obliged as untouchability was a legalized custom in those days. When he was out of earshot, Pakanar's wife flared up. "We should not have obliged. Isn't he the one who has an illicit relationship with his daughter?" she said sneeringly. "You stupid woman. There was one leech left. Now you are destined to eat it." Pakanar chided her. "Leech? Why should I eat the leech?" She made a face. "Don't get upset. I will explain," said Pakanar and went on to tell the strange story. The Nambudiri is a rich man. One day his wife was cooking rice for supper when suddenly she saw a leech in the rice. She reported the matter to her husband. He asked her to give the rice to the servants and cook fresh rice for the family. She followed her husband's instruction. Meanwhile, Yama, the god of death, who got angry with the Nambudiri for what he had done, decided to punish him. He asked his assistant Chitragupta to keep a big heap of leeches ready. "Let him come here after death. I will make him eat the full heap," Yama said. Chitragupta had a soft corner for the Nambudiri, who was his devotee. At night, the Nambudiri went to bed after chanting the following verse as usual: "Om Chitraguptaya Namaha." "I salute you, Chitragupta." Chitragupta appeared before his devotee and disclosed his identity. The Nambudiri fell at his feet and paid his obeisance. Chitragupta told him about the heap of leeches Lord Yama had kept ready for the Nambudiri. The Nambudiri was shocked to hear about what awaited him. "You have sinned, but never mind. Since you are my devotee, I can suggest a way out," said Chitragupta. "Command me, O Lord." The Nambudiri bowed his head. "I know you have a daughter of marriageable age. Don't marry her off. Ask her to be at your service from tomorrow onwards. Shower all your love and affection on her. You will definitely escape the punishment because people will misunderstand your relationship with the daughter and start talking badly about you. The leeches will then be disturbed among those who commit the sin of making false allegations against an innocent man like you." With these words, Chitragupta disappeared. From the next day, the Nambudiri requested his daughter to be at his service. He became totally dependent on her. He insisted that she be at his beck and call. Gradually, people began to gossip and soon it grew into a scandal. He was accused of having an incestuous relationship with his own daughter. In the yonder world, the leeches kept ready for the Nambudiri got disturbed among those who scandalized him. Except for one, all the leeches had been disturbed. The one left will now be eaten by you, since you too have talked scandalously about the innocent man, Pakanar concluded. His wife realized her mistake and was overcome with remorse. It is believed that Pakanar could divine even the doings of celestial beings. One day, Pakanar was sitting in front of his hut. He saw a group of Brahmins passing by. "Where are you going?" he asked them. "We are going to Kashi, a holy city on the banks of Ganges or Gangasnanam." "For Gangasnanam," they said. "Can you do me a favor?" he asked. "Sure," they said willingly. He gave them a cudgel and requested them to dip it in the holy Ganges and bring it back to him. "Why?" one of the Brahmins queried. "I shall tell you on your return," Pakanar replied. The Brahmins took the cudgel and resumed their journey. They reached Kashi in a few days. When they went to the holy water for a dip, they took the cudgel also as desired by Pakanar. But when they dipped it in the water, it slipped away from them as if someone had snatched it. They let go of the cudgel and got back to the shore. They continued with their long pilgrimage. After a few weeks, they returned to their native place. They went to Pakanar and explained to him how they had lost his cudgel. "Where did you lose it?" he asked. "In the holy Ganges." They said, "Never mind, all of you please come with me. There is something I want to show you." He led them to a pond nearby. When he reached the pond, he stretched his hands to the water in the pond and requested, "Please give back my cudgel." And lo, the next moment the cudgel appeared on the surface of the water. He took it and showed it to the Brahmins, who stood stunned in disbelief. "If you have true devotion, you need not go to Kashi for Gangasnanam. It is enough if you bath in your own pond," he said. The Brahmins realized that they were in the company of a great man and that he had just taught them a profound truth. Second chapter, Pakanar and the Azhuvancheri Tambrakal. Azhuvancheri Mana is an aristocratic family of Brahmins. The male members of this family referred themselves as Tambrakal. It was Pakanar who conferred the title on them. The story goes thus. Once, the senior-most male member of Azhuvancheri Mana was returning after a religious ceremony at a palace. He was carrying with him a cow made of gold which was gifted to him after the Hiranyagarbham, a religious ceremony in connection with the coronation of Travancore kings, of the king of a province under the Travancore kingdom. On his way, he met Pakanar, who eyed the cow. "This is a dead cow, so it belongs to me," demanded Pakanar. "It is not dead," the member of the Azhuvancheri family contradicted. He was a man of great spiritual prowess acquired through penance and prayers. "If it is alive, why do you need your servants to carry it? Can't it walk by itself?" Pakanar argued. At once, the Azhuvancheri Nambudiri asked his servants to put the cow on the ground. The servants obeyed. He took a bunch of grass and held it in front of the cow. He then chanted a holy verse and began to walk. Instantly, the cow started to follow him. Pakanar at once realized that he was in the company of a great man. "Azhuvancheri Tambrakal is the greatest of all the Tamburans," Pakanar said with folded arms. From then, all the male members of the Azhuvancheri family started using the title Tambrakal. The stories about Vararuchi are mainly based on hearsay, but they cannot be dismissed as untrue or as merely fables.